Money, media, politics. Pick two of the three and you can control the world. 3 out of 3 and you rule the world. Welcome back to MA everyone, I'm your host Rachel Fisher, and today we are discussing some of the richest and most influential people of all time. From old to new money, today we count down our list of top 10 most powerful families who secretly rule the world. Let's get started. Number 10. The Mars family. I want candy. You want candy. We all want candy. The Mars family owns Mars Inc., which is, and you guessed it, the Mars Bar Company. They are one of the world's largest candy and pet food companies, right? Like what? Like how do those go together? You know? Kinda weird. The family themselves come from humble beginnings. Frank Mars started Mars Inc. way back in 1911 when he started selling candy from his kitchen in Tacoma, Washington. The malt flavored nougat we all know and love wasn't actually made until 1929, when they came up with the Milky Way. How exactly they made the transition from candy to pet food is like beyond me, but that aspect of the biz expanded in 2017. They acquired the animal hospital company VCA, making a $9 billion investment. Overall, the company is worth, get ready, $40 billion in sales. What? So they're rich and they own candy? Well, okay, they're really rich and they own candy. For one, they can influence anyone. And consider the fact that sugar is considered an addictive substance. And then also, Willy Wonka, right? Fiction or non-fiction, candy is a big deal. Imagine a world without it. Number 9. The Morgans. The Morgans sound like the family that lives next door who outdo everyone when it comes to like holiday decorations, but I'm talking about the JP Morgans who could probably do that and control the world at the same time. The Morgan family is one of the most influential American families. Their dynasty is tied to banking, and you have probably heard the name JP Morgan over like 100 times in passing. At the turn of the century, Morgan was the most influential businessman in America. He was so admired and respected that on the day of his funeral, the stock exchange remained closed until 12 p.m. To give you an idea about how much financial success he attained, he bailed out the US Treasury twice. His ability to do this no doubt caused great uneasiness among other people and resulted in the development of the reserve system in late 1913. Today, the Morgans still maintain their political and financial influence, not just in the US but also in Europe, as their company is there as well. So, world connections. Number 8. Pritzker. Arriving from Ukraine late in the 19th century, the Pritzker family made everyone believe that the American dream could be reality. 50 years into their journey as entrepreneurs, they finally started to invest in real estate. That one decision led to over 900 hotels the family owns today, plus an airline and a cruise line just for like extra pizzazz. Ever heard of the Hyatts? That's them. Like many on this list, they are not without shares in different financial institutions, amplifying their influence. After all, if you got your hands on someone else's money, well, you can pretty much do what you want. J.B. Pritzker was the governor of Illinois in 2019, so there's the political influence, and his sister Penny worked as the Secretary of Commerce in the Obama administration. So not only are they the 9th on the Forbes list of richest families, their political influence is even more obvious. Their net worth is over $32.5 billion, which they use to back the presidential campaigns of Obama and Hillary Clinton. An astounding amount of wealth, which of course has been met with competition and strife. Liesl Pritzker Simmons, once a child actress known for Little Princess, didn't know this, now a prominent impact investor, actually sued her own father along with her entire family in 2002. Her father and cousins looted her and her brother's trust funds, so she filed a $6 billion lawsuit, settling with $500 million plus $280 million in cash, plus more control over her trust valued at $170 million. So not quite the $6 billion she wanted, but still, no complaints, I would hope. No complaints. Number 7. The House of Windsor. Whether you consider them the figureheads of the monarchy, the House of Windsor remains one of the most powerful families in the world. They are the reigning family monarchy in Great Britain, and although they may not be the richest on this list, their wealth does not simply lie in money. The Windsors reigned over the entire British Empire, which of course included the fruits of the colonial pursuits of jolly old England from years past. Their colonies, protectorates, and dominions spread across the world. They were also recognized as the official monarchy of several independent countries. Therefore, their wealth is in many pies, as it were. Along with the fanfare that follows, people are obsessed with them. Like the whole Meghan Markle thing, it's nuts. Queen Elizabeth II is the head of the family, the church, and the commander-in-chief of Great Britain's military troops, along with performing her duties as supreme ruler of 15 autonomous countries. Fun fact, this is a fun fact, My grandparents met her twice at the Queen's garden party, and they said hi, and she's very queenly, and that was all I really found out about that. But that was cool. Number 6, Rockefeller. John Davidson Rockefeller may have picked up a few tricks from his dad when he started his American empire. Son of a con man, Rockefeller bought out several owners of Cleveland's largest oil refinery in 1865. Then he just kept going, buying out competitors left, right, and center, which led him to take over 90% of America's refineries and pipelines. But beneath all that success were dubious dealings with corporate spies, secret railroad deals, bribery, leading the US attorney to sue Standard Oil after this came to light. However, the trial only resulted in the company breaking off into 34 sub-companies and allowed Rockefeller to maintain ownership. By the time John D. died, his assets equaled out to 1.5% of America's total economic output. That's more than anybody has ever made today. Today, the 200 descendants of the Rockefeller family have a net worth of over $11 billion, which is significantly less than what they had before. Though their considerable wealth is not what it once was, their name still carries immense weight to this day. John's grandson, David Rockefeller, is the man who stirred up rumors of conspiracy in the 1950s due to his highly secretive meetings. His enigmatic behavior added to fuel to the fire towards the suspicion that the Rockefeller family seeks to gain or maintain control of the world. Number 5, the House of Saud. I feel like if you even have your baby toe dipped in oil somewhere in the world, in a metaphorical sense of course, you can control the world. It's the most important thing, we use it all the time. The House of Saud is the royal family of Saudi Arabia. They, like many powerful families on this list, have old money, especially since they are descendants of the founder of the first Saudi state. The king of Saudi Arabia reigns with absolute power, meaning he could make anything he want happen at the snap of his fingers. They could start a war if they wanted to, and that they have. They consider the country to be an asset, especially since they reign on precious crude oil reserves, about 20% of the world's global resources. The entire House of Saud has 15,000 members, so to be clear, we are specifically talking about the 2,000 members of the inner circle. The actual family under the king of Saudi Arabia can get any job they want so long as it's in the country. Number 4, the Bush family. Yup, we mean that one. Of course, you would expect the families on this list to have political connections, otherwise how else would you rule the world? Their family has made it into the political offices for over 70 years, with good old G.W. Bush being the 43rd president. But of course, we must discuss a pretty seedy scandal. Documents finally declassified in 2003 revealed that Prescott Sheldon Bush had dealings with the German army during World War II. The Guardian reported in 2004 that Prescott worked for and profited from companies closely involved with the German businesses that financed the man who rhymes with Hitler's rise to power, meaning he could have been prosecuted for providing air and comfort to the enemy that killed millions of innocents. Additionally, this is crazy. Additionally, he continued his support after it was revealed what the Yahtzees were doing, and you know what I mean by Yahtzees, I just can't say it because YouTube, censorship. Ugh, I hate it. But anyways, the documents even imply that the US knew where the camps were and could have disabled them long before they were finally discovered. Number 3, Rothschild. The conspiracies surrounding this family appear to me never ending, and some of them may be right. After all, the possibilities are endless when you carry that much influence in your wallet. The Rothschilds are one of the most wealthy families in the world, and their legacy goes all the way back to the 17th century. That is the oldest money I think we have on this list. Mayor Amschel Rothschild established a banking business back then and became the personal banker for the German royal families. His 5 sons then took the business and expanded it into London, Paris, Frankfurt, Vienna, and Naples. British and French war efforts have relied on their funding, including the Napoleonic Wars in 1803 to 1815. This family literally had a hand in the success of war. If that's not power, then I don't know what is. Though their business remains in control of banking, they also have hands in real estate, oil, and construction, so basically everything around us. Number 2, the Murdochs. No, I'm not talking about the Canadian classic everybody watches on a Sunday that's been running forever, Murdoch Mysteries. How are ya? But same name. To say the media plays a huge role in every part of our lives is an understatement, even to say that. It's at the rate we consume media on our phones, on the subway, on the street, TV, computer, on headphones, you'd have to head to the Alaskan Triangle just to get away from it. Which is why the Murdochs are so damn powerful. The Murdochs control several broadcasting networks, their reach stretching across 3 continents. So needless to say, their influence has very little borders. neighbors. Their imperialism began in Australia by a political reporter for the Melbourne papers, Keith Murdoch. Keith climbed his way up to editor, and after he figured out how to double the sales, he became CEO. His son Robert followed in his footsteps as a reporter, and together they formed the News Corporation, which held the power of Australia's media in the palm of their hands. But the corporation now owns 20th Century Fox, Fox News, MySpace, and Dow Jones, plus I think a few more. However, there is no fame without scandal. In 2011, the News Corp was prosecuted for illegal phone tapping of celebrities, the royal family, and even bribed police and special units. People thought that maybe, I don't know, like maybe this should topple the entire empire, but it didn't. It remains standing, and who knows what's happening behind the scenes. And last but not least, number 1, the Waltons. And hitting in at number 1 on the Forbes list of America's richest families, we have the Waltons. Their net worth being $247 billion. Fun fact, if you were to start counting to $1 billion today, it would take you 30 years to complete. So imagine counting to $247 billion. Somebody do the math for me down below in the comments. Guess what they own? Walmart, which is the world's largest retailer by sales. However, they also own Arvis Banks, right? Which operates 16 banks in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas. An unfathomable amount of wealth that this family hoards, and it looks like they want to keep it that way. The Waltons have played a lead role in eliminating the federal estate tax, which would essentially help billionaires evade estate tax entirely, right? Their influence also carries over easily into politics, considering the average election campaign costs $10 million. The Waltons could easily make that in under a day on their business earnings alone. According to Bloomberg, they can make around $100 million a day. Who do you think gets to dictate the terms when your candidate needs money? On top of that though, they also donate a lot of money towards education and environmental initiatives, and of course have their grand share of vintage cars, art, and properties. Apparently it still sucks to work at Walmart though, so. And that was our list from today. I'm sure you all have a lot to discuss, so be sure to leave your comments respectfully below. If you like this video, show us some love and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date. We welcome correction as well. If there's anything in here that you're like, I think this needs to be expanded on, do it. Go for it in the comments. I'm your host, Rachel Fisher, and until next time, take care everyone.